Okay, so a couple days ago, I watched the pilot of The Amazing Digital Circus, the ADC, which I keep seeing it everywhere on my feed and like on Twitter as well. So I'm kind of assuming that most people have seen it. I didn't know about it until Sunday. I don't know if that is specifically the day it came out. Maybe it came out a little earlier. And Jose and Clay were both quoting it. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I had no idea this thing existed. And, you know, I worked on Sunday, and then I watched the Bills-Giants game, which, I mean, I guess wasn't the worst way to kill time. It was a surprisingly good game. At least, like, it was a very close game. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it exciting. But regardless, going on a tangent already. Not even a full minute into the fucking video. Holy crap. But, I ended up watching it later that night, and I fucking loved it. I had an absolute blast. So this is gonna be a very short review, but just the things I liked about it. Number one, I just loved the look. I love the character designs and that they all look like really creative. I love how colorful the show is. I'm someone who, I say it's like, I'm someone who really likes color. Yeah, like, no shit, most people like fucking color, but I also like things that are monochrome, like Casablanca is one of my favorite movies. But it's very colorful, it's very pretty to look at. There's just a lot of visual gags. The character design I really wanted to point out was Kane's, because I love that the Game Master character is just a fucking chattering mouth with two giant, like, eyeballs inside the mouth. Like, I just think it's a really cool design. I really just like the animation. Because, you know, I grew up in the 2000s. I have seen 3D animation, and I have seen some fucking jank-ass 3D animation. So seeing an indie project 3D animation that looks really good, and, like, the movement looks really good, and, like, there's a few times where there's jank, but it's intentional jank, like when Ragatha is glitching out and shit, and, like, that works really well. Like, yeah, like, this looks fucking great. That was awesome. What's the next thing I want to show? What the fuck does that even say? Oh, that's what that says. It says, have no mouth, but with a less malicious game master. Because from what I understand, one of the big inspirations for this, or at the very least what it seems like it's often compared to so far, is I have no mouth and I must scream. Which, if you've never read it, or I guess played it, because there's also a game which I haven't played, but I read it, I fucking loved it. It is not a pleasant story whatsoever, but I really, really like it. Your game master, the computer, is an evil piece of shit. And it's really interesting, because I love game master archetypes. Ones that are just like, I am in control and I hate you. Monokuma. I thought the one in Virtue's Last Reward was pretty okay. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was 02, but I remember I kept calling it Nanakuma, like Nonary game plus Monokuma, even though it's bunny, so I guess it'd be more Usagi than Kuma, but regardless. It's a character type I really like, so I'm having a lot of fun with Kane, but it is pretty interesting to me that, at least so far, he's not particularly malicious. We'll see if that's just he's starting off like that, and kind of letting everyone get their guards down, and then he becomes a real piece of shit later. Maybe he is super malicious, but he just likes to play it like he's not. Or, no, he might just be a genuinely kind of benevolent person. He just doesn't really understand the concept of what he's doing. I think, I'm not exactly sure which I'm subscribing to at the moment, but I think all of them could be potentially quite fun, which sounds really fucked up to say, but I'm really looking forward to seeing more of it. It is an isekai, where the basic plot seems to be some people get sucked into, like, this digital scape, like this digital world that is based off, like, a giant circus. Kane is the ringmaster of the circus, who just kind of gives them stuff to do, and it seems like they don't quite have their memories, but they kind of do. Like, Pomni, our main character, does not remember her name. Pomni is a name that is given to her. She remembers wearing a headset. She remembers that, like, I have a life outside of this, but she can't remember the specifics of her life. And it seems that the people who have been there have been there way longer than she has. They're like, yeah, there's no hope of leaving. We've tried. So you're just kind of making the best of a bad situation and not focusing on the horrible shit and the fact that you're trapped here, because the more you think about it, the more you just kind of realize there is no hope and everything I'm trying to accomplish will never be accomplished. And if you think about it too hard, you go nuts. And then there's a dude who ends up going nuts and they have to deal with that. You're like, oh, that's relatable. I don't like that I'm relating to this. And like, I enjoyed that a lot. The only other thing I want to say, like I said, this is a very short review. It's just like, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Is Pomni's face that she makes at the very end of the episode, this like smile, but not a happy smile. Like her eyes like half open, kind of twitching. I remember looking at it and taking a screenshot and going like, that was me throughout September, and also me while playing Kuro 2. I very much relate to that face. So like it was a fucking cherry on top of the episode. So this was the pilot. So I don't know if it is just like, this is the pilot and we're trying to get it greenlit, like the way that Has Been Hotels was, or if it's a pilot in the sense like, this is the first episode. We can expect more. I have no idea. Probably not every month. I know how I don't personally know how hard animation is to make. I'm not in that business, but from what I understand, it's really fucking hard. I have a lot of respect for people who can do it. So I don't know if it's something we can expect like every few months or so, but I definitely subscribed to the channel after I watched it. Did I? I'm like 90% sure I did. If not, I'm going to check afterwards to make sure I am. Because I definitely want to see more of this. I had a great time. If you've seen it, I hope you had a great time with it as well. And looking forward to the next episode.